Hi, and welcome to Judah Vision. I'm Judah, two-time National Science Foundation award-winning writer, researcher, and Amazon #1 best-selling author of the book Sacred Scroll of Seven Seals and Back Upright. When it comes to the philosophy of good and evil, the aisles seem to be split right down the middle. As you can see, nearly half of the people who read this book give it a perfect score of 5 stars, and the other half absolutely hates my work. This is a great analog for today's world. It's hard for me to imagine that a human could look directly in the face of evil and then side up with that force and disappear in the darkness beside it, but that's our world, and it's only going to degrade from here. If you've been on this planet for any period of time, you've seen this slow degradation for yourself, and it seems to be spiraling faster and faster. The Sacred Scroll of Seven Seals series began after I'd been clean from illegal prescription painkillers for around 2 years. The modality of treatment I used to get clean from opiates was an African root bark, which is highly illegal in the United States. There's no sense of betrayal by your own country like waking up in a Tijuana basement, completely clean from the most vicious prescription opiate addiction many could ever imagine, after only a few days. Many years ago, before this ibogaine treatment thing, I'd even thrown an employee out of my office for implying that 9/11 was a planned event. But after becoming completely clean from opiates in only a couple of days, after 10 years of torture and abuse by the American medical system, my mind had been cleared of all of the programming. I began to see things in a whole new way. Being a very successful grant writer / researcher, when I arrived back in the States, my first inclination was to get to the bottom of the opiate crisis. Having a brother who died of an opiate overdose, along with my own struggles, I had plenty of reasons to hunt the culprits of this fiasco. My research led me to President Franklin Delano Roosevelt's grandfather, Warren Delano, who was chief dope dealer for a company called Russell and Company. This company injected this horrible disease into the American culturescape, hand in glove with the atrocities of the Civil War. A little more detective work led me to the founder of Russell and Company, Samuel Russell, whose sprawling estate now serves as a museum on Yale University's infamous High Street, a road which is shared by the Order of Skull and Bones' meeting place, which members call the Tomb. Skull and Bones is a satanic skull-worshipping fraternity. Among their members are George Bush and John Kerry, who faced off in the 2004 election, demonstrating to me that there was also some skullduggery afoot in our political system. Remember, there were only 15 Skull and Bones members each year, so the likelihood of 2 members being vetted into the candidacy of each political party in the same year is 0%. Furthermore, the odds of a 15-person billionaire boys club differing in their political beliefs is absolutely absurd, so my BS antenna was vibrating. More research exposed that Russell and Company was an evolution of a satanic company called East India Company, who dealt dope around the world for hundreds of years. As a matter of fact, as a faction of the same group was clearing the so-called Indians from the American continent, East India Company had enslaved the entire subcontinent of the real India for the purpose of growing opium. EIC then spread this horrible disease to the entire world. Britain was growing so much dope and occupied India in place of life-sustaining cereal crops that it triggered a famine which killed over 100 million Eastern Indians. EIC profited from that famine too. After learning that William Huntington Russell founded Skull and Bones and Nodia Russell founded Yale, I began some genealogy work and discovered that the common thread between Yale's founders, the founder of Russell and Company, all of East India Company's directors, and all of our presidents was that they are all related by blood to the Royal Crown of England. This means that there's a blood connection between every president of the USA and the royal family. So, is the Royal Crown still operating the U.S. through a so-called shadow government? Let us not forget that, along with dope dealing for centuries, if not millennia, this bloodline's East India Company dealt millions upon millions of African slaves around the world. This is a satanic bloodline of individuals whom I traced all the way back to the 12 Hebrew tribes in the Bible. This satanic bloodline also worships the devil at Bohemian Grove, California, where they serve a stone owl in a ceremony which is nearly identical to that of the golden calf worship which took place in the Ten Commandments story. The highlight of the summer solstice at the Grove is a supposed mock human sacrifice in which a swaddled baby is burned at an altar before the owl. Nearly every one of our American presidents for the past 120 years have been present for this ancient ceremony of human sacrifice. Even more detective work led me to a little book called The Historical Memoirs of the House of Russell from the time of the Norman Conquest, in which the poet Jeremiah Holmes Whiffen documented the evil works of this terrible bloodline since ancient times. The poet documented the connection of this bloodline to Viking kings such as Rollo and Ragnar Lothbrok. It connects these demons to the Knights Templar and even tells the tale of a secret group of 9 Templar who set up cabals on the road to Jerusalem with whom to terrorize pilgrims 100 years before the accepted founding of this group of pagans. Henry VIII, who decapitated his own wife, was even from this tribe, and you will be surprised to see who else. The little book even confirms the identity of the Holy Grail and left many hidden clues within its text, much like the fiction version of this book, The Da Vinci Code. By the way, the Hebrew tribe to which I connected this royal bloodline was the tribe which the Bible indicates will produce the Antichrist. I know that this is a lot to digest, and many people will take this opportunity to run and or leave a 1-star review because they've already chosen the dark side. But for the rare chance of learning the truth, I implore you to download the Kindle app and the free sample of this book and join the terribly small group of individuals on this planet who knows our true identity. To learn more about the Sacred Scroll of Seven Seals series and how this all ties to pop culture, watch my other video, Pepsi Threatens Apocalypse. Please like and share this video on social media and subscribe to Judavision. And remember, together we can all make a difference. Thank you for joining Judavision, your bridge to the truth.